What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone had a fantastic Juneteenth this past weekend. Just wanted to check in. I know today is not our usual day for the podcast. I am so tired. Traveling back to Pittsburgh from the festivities. Well, really just traveling back to Pittsburgh from not being in Pittsburgh. But anyway, just wanted to give a quick update for anyone who's not aware. There is a public hearing scheduled for this Thursday at Baptist Temple Church in Homewood. That's 7241 Race Street, with regards to the Homewood Water Crisis. The water crisis has been going on for nearly 5 years now. And the neighbors who have quietly been dealing with it are no longer quietly dealing with it. They have been speaking up and speaking out, calling on the powers that be to be accountable, to be responsible, for the crumbling infrastructure, and be responsible for, like the things that they've been charging the community with. What we know is Miss Tanya McClendon Todd, who is very much responsible in a lot of ways for why we're even having this conversation, because she has not let up in the past nearly 5 years. Ms. Tanya has been accused pretty much of being responsible for the water crisis, saying that the plumbing in her home is responsible for like the faulty plumbing or the backup or whatever's going on with the sewage and the water issue in her home somehow caused the water issues, not only in her home, but in several of her neighbors, both on her street and on a street over from them. So they had a press conference a couple of weeks ago, or last week, one of the two, regarding the water crisis down at PWSA. PWSA is currently closed, but it was, it was a really powerful moment. I do want to share a video from Gabrielle Gray, who was there, a Homewood resident, lifetime Homewood resident, who spoke on facts, facts of this issue with PWSA. Like, make no mistake, this issue with PWSA is long-standing. So I'm going to show you this video from Gabby. I'm waiting for our folks from Homewood to join us today, but you definitely got to check out what Gab had to say.
My name is Gabrielle Gray. I'm a Homewood resident, City of Pittsburgh District 9, and it is my concern that Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority is getting away with horrendous offenses that are 100% criminal. And instead of sweeping the offenses of Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority under the rug, these offenses must be taken to our district attorney as well as to Josh Shapiro. It is well past time for you to handle your business, elected officials, and punish, not slap on the wrist, Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority for their magnanimous crimes against their customers. Moreover, part of the recommendation of Attorney Josh Shapiro, it is time to force the necessary reforms to take shape to keep Pittsburgh's drinking water safe. Shapiro made this statement after he filed 161 third-degree misdemeanor charges, which should have been felony charges in 2019 against Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority for failing to notify residents of its water line replacement and failed to conduct sampling, which still to this date, sampling in its entirety has not occurred. If anything further stated is not yet considered criminal, then we have to have legislation passed to make every single item hereafter address a crime. Number one, Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority has been charging customers for polluted water that is due to Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority's extreme neglect without providing to all customers free filters or rebate coupons for water filtration, which creates a bottled filtered water bill on top of the already existing Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority bill. Number two, Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority received a slap on the wrist in 2021 for violating the Clean Water Act by dumping sludge into the Allegheny County River. More needs to be done to punish Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority for this magnanimous crime. Number three, Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority is now increasing water rates for landfill water, soon to make water unaffordable for the city of Pittsburgh residents. Number four, Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority has caused a grotesquely serious rat problem without any rat control in the city by digging up old lead lines that Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority should have been replaced. The EPA only gave Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority a citation for violating the Clean Water Act, and leaving the Waters Authority drinking water plant is basically lead free. But it flows through the city's decades-old water system. A quarter of homes in the system use lead service lines, which have been banned for decades, but still remain in use and in place. Going over the multitude of problems, Michael Lamb noticed common threads: a lack of leadership within Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority, unauthorized charges, often to cut the cost, and very little accountability. State Auditor General Eugene De Pasquale, when in office, announced his office would conduct a separate audit of the organization to see if blame falls solely on Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority leaders or if there is shared responsibility with the agency's overseers, such as the Department of Environmental Protection, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Allegheny County Health Department. When you don't have consistent, competent leadership, you have a problem, Michael Lamb said. According to Lamb, this leadership failure meant the authority couldn't meet long-term goals as each executive director pushed in their own direction. He also blamed Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority's board for not holding the authority accountable. Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority board members have been appointed to 5-year terms by Mayor Bill Peduto. Mayor Peduto has done nothing but cover up the grotesque crimes of Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority by only suing the privatized company that Pittsburgh Water Sewage Authority was in contract with when it caused the Flint water crisis. It's the same water company that caused the Flint water crisis. And instead of pressing charges against this company, PWSA has not been charged at all. And they have not even been charged for not notifying the EPA about changing the chemicals in our drinking water.
Amen.
Recommendations of the privatized company that again caused both the Flint and Pittsburgh water crisis must be held accountable. They must be held accountable for their complete neglect and grotesque approach to fixing what has been for 3 decades their fault. Thank you.
Now, I want to make sure that y'all caught that what Gabby said. Well, she said a lot. So the video that I just played here is also posted on our Facebook page and in our group. So I would definitely recommend going back and really hearing all of the receipts and all of the charges and all of the issues that has come from PWSA and Pittsburgh's infrastructure, like the current mayor of Pittsburgh, Mayor Bill Peduto, and the roles that they played in the longstanding infrastructure issue, right, with PWSA. And of course, and let me be clear, Bill Peduto has only been in office for 8 years. This issue with PWSA and our infrastructure has been going on for decades. So to be clear on that. I see there's a couple of comments here. One of them, the first one I see in here, mentions that the communities need to work together on cleaning up the communities. The garbage, it's if I'm reading it correctly, says that the garbage that falls into the water, into the drainage system, is causing the issues. I just want to again underscore everything that Gabby has said here with the issue with the infrastructure, going back to like the lead pipes that should have been removed, and they're not, and they're still in place and in use. I want to underscore the fact that she said that the company that caused the Flint water crisis is also the company that has contracted with Pittsburgh's water. So we share the same company that caused the well-known, right, the nationally known water crisis in Flint, Michigan. There's another comment here that I just put up here about a man, Kevin Davis. Kevin Davis apparently fell into and washed out in a storm drain next to his house the other night in Menneson and died. I had no idea of that. I'm not sure if there's any officials who are aware of that, that do find that issue that interesting. I know the Valley also has their issues with water and had long-standing issues with water. So we do have a couple of folks here from Homewood, two of our residents who've been making noise and holding folks accountable. I want to bring them up for us right now. Hey, Miss Tanya, Miss Ivy.
Hi, hello. And Donald's here too. He's having trouble, so we'll pass one of our phones over to him if need be. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So thank you all for taking the time out today. You know, I know the public hearing is scheduled for this Thursday, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So really quickly, if y'all don't, and Miss Tanya, if you can get us started, just give us a brief, introduction. Who are you, and how are you connected to this issue here?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tanya McClendon Todd. Born and raised in the community of Homewood, and I just happen to have be residing in the house I was born and raised in. So I returned here in 1999, and I decided to live here for the duration. And what started as a small sinkhole ended up as a holder within my house and partly my neighbors on Ray Street. For years, we've had going on over 4 years. We've had backup of sewage in our basement, along with other neighbors who had work done by Wilkinsburg Joint Water Company and PWSA, Pittsburgh Water and Sewage Authority. Before they did any work, we had no problems. We would not have met Ms. Shannon and other people who have surrounded us. But after the work was completed 2 months later, I had sewage back up in my basement to the second floor step of my basement steps, which flooded out my hot water tank, and I have not had any hot water in my house over 4 years. And low water pressure, it led to some of my appliances, my washing machine malfunctioning, and has really interfered with my lifestyle, putting me at risk, and then putting my neighbors at risk, because I had to live in the sewage, and then we had to pump it out into the alleyways. And talking to other neighbors, found out that they had the issues too. I knew the man next door had it, and due to our lateral lines being connected, what appears like when they did the work, they broke our lateral lines, and they said it was our fault. Other houses have had the backup, not as severe as I do, but it's still not a healthy way to live.
I'm sorry. Oh no, I would just want to make sure I didn't cut you off.
No, I didn't know if anyone else wanted to bring anything in, but it's just been going on for 4 years. I've suffered physically, mentally, and emotionally, financially, and this has to come to some type of resolution. I've learned a lot of things about permanent sewage. I'm a nurse, and I don't even want to know, but I do know that this occurrence has not just started. This has been going on for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And now it has come to surface in more ways than one.
Absolutely. I think Miss Ivy is having a difficulty with her connection, so hopefully we can get back.
I'll pass my phone to who you want to speak to. Ivy? Yeah.
Yep, whatever's clever.
Hi.
Here she is, Ivy.
I've been living on Ray Street. I'm a tenant. I rent. My landlord just lived down the street. But I've been having the problem like 4 years too also. But in 2 years now it get worse. And like coming real hard down in the basement. Me and my 2 kids have to be down there every day trying to plunge it out. Everything that I have in the basement was damaged. and stuff like that. And I'm still paying the sewer bill up until now. So I mean, it's very hard. And I have back problem. I have problem that with my back, which was out, and all the time it hurts by going down there, bending down to do all them stuff. It hurts more. So I can't do it much longer.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And Miss Ivy, did you say you had kids as well? How many kids are in the home?
Yeah, they're teenager now, but they 17 and 18 now.
Mm.
But we be having it for that long. They have to be like helping to go down there, and sometimes you can see they're really tired of it too.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right,
I
y'all.
can't even get my grandkids them to come and visit.
Same here.
Mm.
My grandkids, I have grandchildren, and I can't let them come and visit because of that.
I wanted to touch on that because I also know Miss Tanya's grandkids have not been able to visit for the same reason.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
Mm. So it's messing up y'all family dynamics.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mm. Mm.
Donald's here.
Yeah, Mr. Don.
Right.
Good evening. How you doing, young lady?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. Who else is on it with us?
Just me.
All right. Listen, my problem began in around about October 2018. In the wintertime, it began with underground water leak. My main water, residential water line separated from the main water line. So the city came out and excavated. And in the process of excavating, they collapsed the sewer pipe. But I didn't realize that until after a heavy rain. And when the heavy rain came down, the basement flooded. But since we can't see underground, there's no way for the residents to know that their sewer pipes have been collapsed because of the contractors either excavating it out or dumping in the improper materials, backfilling the holes with rocks and boulders and all that weight on a terracotta pipe is obviously a reasonable person would know it's going to collapse the terracotta pipes. And that's what's created a systemic problem here in Homewood with probably the vast majority of the houses wherever the city has been excavating and doing so-called gas line repairs, water line repairs. That's what's been going on in this neighborhood for a very, very long time. And it has all culminated into a lot of vacant properties because people cannot afford to get their sewer pipes replaced. It's quite expensive, anywhere from $20,000 up to over $100,000 to get the work done. So that's pretty much my story. I'll pass you over the time.
Thank you. Yeah, and so I know you all have a number of folks who have tried to just handle it on their own since the city and PWSA didn't seem like they were interested in fixing anything. I know one of your neighbors spent, I think he said $8,000 just to find out that there's nothing that the contractors could do. So he spent money and just to find out that they don't even have the equipment. It would have to be PWSA, if I'm remembering correctly, to even do anything. That money wasn't refundable, obviously, for him.
Well, and that's why they're putting up a stink because, they want their money back because you know they have people have other things to do with their money than just to throw it down the drain and you know excuse my pun. And so and being accused, held accountable for something you didn't do. Yeah. And that is really what has gotten me really upset. I mean, more in addition to me being already upset, but the saying it's my fault, something that held accountable for something I did not do. That's why I start reaching out, and I just want to live, you know, a normal life and enjoy being here without all this extra chaos and confusion and inconvenience and pain and suffering. So I'm just so glad that you have come aboard and supported us and helped us get the word out.
Of course, absolutely. Ms. Tanya, I know your experience has been particularly difficult with your neighbors who are unaware of what's really been going on, and the perception is a bit different. And folks have been kind of, you know, responding in a way. Would you feel comfortable on that?
I mean, people have slashed my car tires. They have a hole in my back window now where they've thrown bricks and rocks. Kids come by from a stinky house and throw rocks and stuff in the yard. And people have reported me to the health department. And it's just the things that I've gone through and had to endure. And it's just heartbreaking. No fault of your own. Right, at no fault of my own. And so that's when I start reaching out and being persistent, and something has to be done, not just for me, but all those who've been affected by any damage that occurred after work done by Wilkinsburg and PWSA.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The day I came to visit you, Ms. Tanya, the first time that we met in person, and I sat down in your dining room and saw the hole in your glass window, you know, and you casually told me, oh yeah, someone broke my window because they're upset about the smell and such. And you were talking about how you've been accosted and such, and I think your son had just replaced your tires that were slashed because of this. Mm-hmm. And when I left out your front door, I heard kids walking through the back of your house, you know, yelling, you know, just rude epithets at your house, like, you know, with regards to this issue that they're not aware that it's not your fault, and not aware that it is an issue that we're all, you know, collectively having with the infrastructure, the powers that be. But you know, this woman, Black woman, mother of the community, is being harassed over, and that blew my mind. Like, I still can't connect the two.
I took the time to write up a letter and trying to, you know, tell them be patient with me. It's not my fault. You know, if they have any suggestions to offer me to how and remedy this situation, and just to be patient with me. People have moved because the odor was so. I have lost my sense of smell. Maybe that's a blessing in my case. But people have moved because of one woman I met. The odor was so foul, it was making her sick. And she lived across the alley and down the alley, and that's where the sewage was draining. She had to move. I'm trying to contact her now to see if she'll come on Thursday. I mean, they tell me the alley would be lit up, and then it would travel down Collier. It was just it's a big mess.
See, and the real tragedy is that the city contractors caused the problem on private property.
Can you hear him?
To excavate on private property during the work. They dig up your driveway or your backyard. That's on private property. It's necessary and proper for them to do some repairs on the water line. And in the process, damage or collapse destroys the sewer pipe. And then when you tell them, hey, I have this sewage backup problem, then they say, well, that's not our business. It's on private property. Well, the damage happened on private property. You caused the damage. Your workers, we believe, caused the damage, so they should be held liable. The municipality should be held liable for the repairs and the compensation to the tenants and the property owners for doing shoddy work. There's no way out of that. It's not the tenant's fault. And then we may even have to pull around and get an injunction from the district court, because if the problem presents a threat to the health and well-being of people in the neighborhood. Now you're going to have Department of Health and Human Services getting involved, talking about you have to leave your house. It happened to, I believe it happened to Miss Tanya, but a whole bunch of residents could be faced with the same thing if the city is not accepting responsibility for the damage its contracted workers cause to people's private property.
That was one of my concerns. I decided to return home and live out in Homewood. And now I'm worrying about being evicted, my house being condemned. Because as a registered nurse, I do know a little bit about germs, and this was not a healthy environment to live in. You know, I should have took a stock on Clorox and sanitizer and all that, and you know, and tried, you know, worked and kept down the odor and the fume and the germs. But this was a healthy, unhealthy situation inside here and outside, because now we're contaminating the community. And I'm not that type of person. I usually help people, not contribute to destroy and hurt people. So this is just has expanded into such a big mess.
I know you all, and Don just mentioned, well, both of you just mentioned that you all already have neighbors who've been displaced for this issue. Like after we did the first podcast, actually, you know, a number of folks have reached out and said either they are dealing with this issue right now, or they were dealing with it and they had to move because it was too much. It wasn't safe for their families. Like the smell was too much to bear. And then, you know, and folks just don't deserve to live like that.
They don't. And I felt bad because I'm causing it, but I couldn't keep it here. I had to, you know, it was either me or them, you know. So we tried to. I've tried to be selective. I would do it at night. You know, I had to set up a pattern, or when it rained, that was ideal time, you know, to pump it out. And that shouldn't. No one should ever have to live like that in this day and age. No one.
Absolutely not. And let's not forget that we are literally still in a pandemic, right? That has been killing Black folks specifically, you know, by the droves. And the fact that the city has I mean, it blew my mind. When I first met you, I thought we were going to do this massive fundraiser and just get this thing together for your house, and cool, like that, I could do that all day. But to find out that this ain't even your issue, and even if we did pull the money together to fix your house, if the infrastructure is jacked up, that ain't gonna fix your issue or nobody else's, because it's just gonna reverberate. You know, like there is no fixing that. It has to come from the infrastructure. It has to come from PWSA, Penn Joint Water, in the city of Pittsburgh. Like, they have to be accountable for it. And the fact that they've known this since day A, they've known this for nearly 5 years now, and have said nothing. You have done nothing. Have taken no responsibility, or just like generally caring about the people who are impacted.
Like, they're taking our money, but not have provided service. We've been doing all the work, you know.
That's insane. Like, what are y'all even? How are you calculating a bill? How? Right. For what? Where are these numbers coming from? Like, right. That is wild. That is wild.
And I think that what they're doing is they're setting up to accomplish two things. Number one is what they really want is a land grab, run them out. And as I said before, not facetiously, seriously, where they say, well, we'll just drown them in their own fecal matter. So now brings up the issue of a plot. So you have all these agencies and everybody involved. extensive amounts of financial resources that's going to have to be put out if the foundation of the buildings, and the water is going to cause problems with the foundations, and to replace a foundation, you're looking at over $250,000 bottom end to replace a foundation, because the water will seep through the cement, and it's going to cause a shift in the building. So this is something that's an elaborate scheme to gentrify and at the same time commit genocide against people of African descent.
It's interesting, Shannon, since I have been in, I grew up here. This is the house I was born and raised in. And when they built the housing up, public housing up the alley, I was about 8 or 9 years old. And we used to play down our basements in the winter because it was dry. And the year that they installed, I guess, the sewage system, one time the basement backed up to the second step, and it never happened again. But what did happen, like Donald said, water started seeping through our basement floors.
Mhm.
We could sweep it out, no big thing. We still got on there, and it would dry out on a hot day. But
Real
the beginnings of infrastructure issues, foundational problems.
Well, what we do know is that destabilization is absolutely used as a tactic and a tool for displacement in gentrification. We know that for facts. Which is why in neighborhoods that are, sieged, that the schools aren't resourced or under resourced for years and years and years. Because when it gets to when Oliver and Westinghouse and Peabody and in Wilkinsburg are not doing well at all, and blame goes to the parents, the kids, not on the infrastructure. It doesn't point to the fact that these schools have been under resourced for years and years and years, and then the kids have been criminalized for years and years and years. And the narrative that we have is like, oh, well, these are failing schools, so we should close them. And it's always in Black neighborhoods that they are failing schools and we should close them. And it's all the kids' faults and it's all the parents' faults. It has nothing to do with the fact that these kids have not had the same access to resources, access or support like the kids in the schools that are in white neighborhoods or non-Black neighborhoods, right? That's just a piece of it, the educational part, but it is a part of it, right? Neighborhoods are destabilized in order for them to be taken, we know that to be a fact. And so it's really difficult for me to believe that that's not what's happening here, because Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh, Penn Joint Water, and PWSA has not lifted a finger to try to ameliorate this issue that is deadly, right? It's dangerous. And that blows my mind. This is your own people, your own city, we're stronger than hate and all that, whatever. But y'all have done nothing. But anyway, I'll jump off my soapbox. So what is it that you all, so the public hearing is scheduled for this Thursday, 6 p.m. at Baptist Temple Church at 7241 Ray Street, 15208. What is the goal for this public hearing?
The goal is to bring the officials together so that they can hear our stories and narratives all together. That they can start planning to undo what they have done, that an action plan will be in place, and that those who have paid out expenses and lost items, that they will be compensated, and make a plan to avoid this from happening or occurring to others in the community. That's part of what we'll be working on for this town meeting.
Excellent. And what officials, who has been directly invited to this public hearing? Who are you all speaking to?
Okay, we have invited Senator Costa, State Representative Ed Gainey, Mayor Bill Peduto, Director of Public Health. I don't want to incorrectly say his name. Hershey, Director of Public Wendell of Public Health and Safety, City Council, and the directors of both utility companies, Wilkinsburg Penn Joint Water Authority and PWSA.
Excellent. And are you all expecting or wanting for a community to come out? And if so, what should the community look forward to in having this this face-to-face meeting?
The community should come and look forward to seeing one of many. This is one of many issues in the community, and to focus on this issue and other issues that are like ours that have been caused by the utility companies or their contractors. And then as we go on to identify other issues that will bring our community together and a beautiful community like Squirrel Hill, South Hills, Mount Lebanon. Those of us who want to stay here and are going to stay here want to be treated the same way as the people that they're trying to bring in. We're not going anywhere. We just want to be treated, to be included in, and looked out for, so we can enjoy our community like other communities do.
Donald, Miss Ivy, did you all have any thoughts?
Donald had to go. He wasn't feeling well. Here's Miss Ivy.
I don't really have much to say, but I just want this to be over with. No, it's too long.
That's fair.
It's too long. Yeah, they're taking a toll of me in my back to keep going back and forth to Presby to check on my back because I had like water leveling around my spine and stuff like that. So I can't do too much bending and stuff like that. So I just would like it to be over with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was too long after the first day. 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to point out like how important it is that folks speak up. Like after we did the first podcast, after you all did the press conference, after we like made this more visible, as I had mentioned earlier, folks who are not part of this initial group of residents have reached out to myself and possibly others to say like, I'm dealing with this too. Like, oh, I had no idea this is a me issue, especially if like the water company is telling you that it's your fault, like, and you don't realize, this is our fault. This is what's going on. So it's so important that we continue to speak out and speak up on.
I rent, but my landlord, he dig up the whole back and replace pipes and put it in the direction. They said that someone had come and take pictures of the hole. And he said he spent over $6,000 to dig up the back and put in new pipes, but it still don't work.
Wow.
Still coming down. So,
and that's you and so many other folks, who invested thousands of dollars only to find out that it has to be PWSA, it has to be Penn Joint Water, to be the same.
That's it. Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't live in Homewood, definitely standing in solidarity and anything that it is that I can do and that we can do. But for someone who's a resident of the community, what can we do to support you all directly? What direct actions can we take to be supportive of you all?
She said come on Thursday.
Yep. Look, And that's powerful and it's super important. So as a reminder, the public hearing is going to be held this Thursday,
Yeah.
July 8th, at 6 p.m. It'll be at Baptist
Yeah.
Temple Church. That's
Yeah.
71 Race Street, Pittsburgh, PA 15208. If you are a person
Mhm.
impacted, definitely come out. If you're someone who has been
Yeah.
displaced, definitely at least consider coming out. If you cannot, you can always write down
Mhm.
your narrative and we can make sure that someone reads it off so that your story is told as well.
Yeah.
Someone who is just in support of people, right? Particularly the folks who are directly impacted, like Miss Ivy, and Miss Tanya and Donald, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
We come out and use your voice. Like it's the power is definitely in the people. It's always been in the people, and we have to exercise our power for our own
Yes.
humanity. If you do want to
Yes.
be involved in this movement, and make no mistake, it's going to be a road, right? Because even if PWSA, Penn Joint Water Authority, and the city of Pittsburgh said, okay, today, that's still a long road. Like that doesn't mean we sit down and we're going to let them handle it. No, that's
Yeah.
never
Right.
the case. We don't sit back and let the powers that be decide how they're going to do anything without our input. It's going to be a long road, so that means that we're always going to need to be engaged. So if you do want to lend a hand, learn more, tell your story, you can contact Miss Tanya at 412-357-6525, or you can email her at Tanya, that's Tanya, D as in dog, T as in Thomas, 7@gmail.com. And reach out, let her know, like, yo, I want to join the fight. I want to stand in solidarity with the community.
Yeah.
Anything else you all want to say before we cut out today?
No, I just again reinforce. Please come out to support us, and this is one of many issues in the community. Not that I want to take on all of them, but if we can take one issue at a time, we can develop and live in the community that we want it to be. But we have to come together. We have to stick together. We have to work together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as a reminder, as I say every episode, it only takes about 25% of the community for change to occur. So don't think that you need everybody in the world standing next to you to make change, to affect change. And that also does not mean that, oh, okay, they only need 25%, so they don't really need me. No, that means that we do need you. And you ain't got to worry about somebody else standing up before you stand up. Like it does not take that much. We know we need these things. We know it's for our betterment, not only for our today, but also for our tomorrow. We cannot stand up, talking about like all of the plight and the horrible things that go on. We can do something about it today, like right now. And these are the things we need to do to prevent those horrible things, in the future, right? Like, and these things are connected. It's systemic, right? So like this water issue, don't think that it doesn't impact the issue with gun violence or education or food access or job access or healthcare. Don't think these things are not connected and related. And I mean directly, not like in a kind of, no. It's directly connected. It's directly connected, right? Like, and at the end of the day, these are people's lives, right? These are people's lives. So if you can, definitely come out on Thursday. If you cannot and you've been impacted or have something to say, like I said, reach out to Ms. Tanya or myself. You can hit us up at racialjusticeandmedia@gmail.com or 412-453-6309, and either tell your story or we can connect you with Ms. Tanya. If you want to reach out to Ms. Tanya, again, her number is 412-357-6525. Too much going on the screen. Email is Tanya, that's Tanya, D as in dog, T as in Thomas, 7@gmail.com. Thank you all for taking the time out to listen in today. This is in preparation for the public hearing that is happening this Thursday. This Thursday, it will be at Baptist Temple Church, 7241 Race Street, Pittsburgh, PA 15208. That's in Homewood at 6 p.m. So make sure that you come out, that you share this out, share this live out, share the other podcast, share all the information. There will be more information to come. This is only the beginning, the very beginning, and folks ain't stopping. So you might as well get on now, because it's gonna be a road, All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Tanya, Ivy, Donna.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll look forward to Thursday.
Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, y'all have a good one.
You too now. Peace.